Find the equation of the tangent line for y equals f of x over x at the point x equals -1, where f of -1 is -2 and f prime of -1 is 7. To find the equation of the tangent line, we need to have the x and y coordinates of the point. Right now we have only the x coordinate given to us. So the first thing we need to do is find the corresponding y coordinate. And that's going to be found by plugging the x coordinate into the function y equals f of x over x. So our y coordinate will be y of the x coordinate -1 plugged in. And that will be f of -1 divided by -1. Well, f of -1 was given here. It's a -2. So this will be a -2 over -1. -2 over -1 is a +2. And we have the point x coordinate -1, y coordinate of 2. We also need the slope of the tangent line, and that's the derivative. So we're going to be taking the derivative of the function. And the function y is a quotient, f of x over x. So we will make use of the quotient rule for the derivative. Y prime will be the derivative of the numerator, f prime of x, times the denominator left alone, so times x, minus the numerator left alone, f of x, times the derivative of the denominator, that's a 1. And then that entire thing over the denominator squared. Now before I plug into this, let's just rewrite it. We'll put this x out front, so this is x times f prime of x, and then f of x times a 1 will just be f of x all over x squared. To find our slope, we're going to plug our x coordinate into this derivative. Our x coordinate is a -1, so we want y prime of -1. Now that'll be -1 times f prime of -1 minus f of -1 all over -1 squared. So we have a -1 times f prime of -1, that's given to us, that's right there, it's a 7, minus f of -1, that's given right here, that's a -2, all over -1 squared, which is a +1. So we have -1 times 7, which is -7, a minus a -2, which is the same thing as +2, over a 1. -7 plus 2 is a -5 over 1, or just -5. So we have a slope of -5. We have the point, we have the slope. We can now set up the equation of the tangent line using the point-slope formula. Y minus the y coordinate, which is a 2, equals the slope we just found to be -5 times x minus the x coordinate, which is a -1. We're going to want to solve for y to put it into what's called the slope-intercept form. First thing I'm going to do is the minus and -1 rewrite as a +1. We can now distribute the -5 in and add 2 to both sides. And we have -5x minus 5 plus 2 will be -3. So y equals -5x minus 3 is the equation of the tangent line for that function y at that point